And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Uh, okay. It's been a while. It happened. It happens when you're out for 1 month. I just lost it. Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Vtuber Gaming Talk. In which we invite Vtubers to just have a chill chat and just hang out. Chill. And well, today we have the Caterpillar boy that ended up rocking it just pretty much lately. Like, holy shit, it's going places way too fast. It's almost like it's almost like ironic. Usually Caterpillars are not so fast, but it's still though to the point. Saint, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, Rebug! I'm Zane Saturnity, the Lunar Moth Caterpillar, and I stream over on Twitch just as Daenerys does. And I believe you do have the Linktree link if anyone is interested in seeing my lovely face and lovely voice in real time.
How about that? You guys have the comments on the title of the stream. Exclamation point TG gives you the link tree for Sane over here, and the GPL command is basically for the playlist we are listening today. And speaking of, now that we're here, for once, like, let's talk about Pokemon. Let's get rid of the elephant in the room. Let's talk about it. Why not?
All right.
For those who don't know, Sane has been on a Pokemon. How's it say? Pokemon addiction. Yeah. I will say Pokemon addiction because you've been playing nothing but Pokemon on and off stream. So yeah, that.
Yeah. It happens with every new Pokemon game. Guilty as charged.
Yeah. So that's the thing. We have a Pokemaniac here. So, would you like to talk about that? How all of that started?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So 1 year for Christmas, my parents had gifted me Pokemon Emerald, and I have played at least one game from every generation except for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon since. So I'm very happy that there's a new game and new stuff to explore, new Pokemon as always. So it started when I was about 10 years old, which, standard Pokemon adventure. And now been playing it for the past 16 years.
Wow. Usually, some people stick up with their original experience of the game and then just go from it, but some people just left it after the first experiences. But yeah, it's interesting to know that because in my case, at least, I just stopped with Pokemon, I think Crystal. Then I just jumped directly to the remakes of that specific game.
Gotcha.
And I had fun with them. I like Johto. And I'm just a sucker for the Johto starters. I love them. All of them. Even Chikorita, that it's getting a lot of trash because you cannot do anything with Chikorita at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I still was able to push through. Chikorita was my choice.
Yeah, you are able. It's hard, but you're able. Like, you just go to the cave, grab a Geodude, and throw it to Fagners so you can get rid of him.
Yeah. Is it any surprise I chose the Pokemon with antennas and a flower?
Yeah, it's not that much of a surprise, to be honest. It will be a surprise if you don't catch a Caterpie as soon as you see it.
Oh, yeah. Caterpie has been my little buddy. I actually have a Caterpie Pop that's coming my way that's going to be a little desk buddy.
Oh, hell yeah. That's adorable.
Caterpie was part of my design inspiration for what makes a character design based on a caterpillar good. And Caterpie is the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, good choice was Caterpie and not other things. There's very few designs based on caterpillars that are in popular media, to be honest. Really,
yeah.
weird.
Not even just in the VTuber space, it's caterpillars in general.
Yeah.
Mainly the only time you see us is when we're featured in something like A Bug's Life or something similar where it only focuses on the small animal kingdom.
Yeah. And even then, there are representations of like insects as monsters, as different type of like beings. But caterpillars are the only ones that I think are not represented like that on media. Aside of caterpillar, which is an oversized caterpillar.
Yeah. Most of the time, if you want a representation of the Saturnidae family, or with moths, or you get the butterfly side of things, it's normally not in a caterpillar form, unless they're talking specifically about metamorphosis. I do know, to pull it back to the relevance of the game topic, that there is an indie developer who is making a caterpillar-based game.
Really?
I've been following them closely, yeah.
What is it
I'm very excited.
What is that about?
Yeah, I can definitely grab you the link after stream, but I do follow them. I'm very excited. The funny thing is, they almost have my lore down to an exact, so that I'm watching it with interest. It's a caterpillar who does not want to become a moth, same as me, and is trying to prevent that actively. So I'm like, oh wow, that is my lore. What?
Going against evolution, against nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yep, which is my lore, exactly.
Alright. Now to address the second elephant in the room, let's talk about Warframe, please.
Oh.
Like, two songs on the playlist that played just a few moments ago, both, I think it's Down Below and We Live Together. Both are, I think, two of the greatest songs Warframe has on it, and the OST on the game is actually gorgeous, so... let's just talk about it. What's your experience with Warframe?
Oh man, Warframe. I've been playing for a couple of years since Wisp's release, and it was something that I had thrown myself headfirst into, just like Pokemon, and it got me through some hard times, which I think really strengthened my connection to the game itself. And for both of the songs, We All Live Together and Sleeping in the Cold Below, they're very fun and easy for me to sing along to. Yeah. And also you can have both playing in the Orbiter. And so when I got the ability to have both songs in the Orbiter, they play frequently on stream. Well, soon to be on stream anyway. I do have some plans for that coming in the future.
How did I notice you could play those on the Orbiter? I'm an idiot! I should do that! I forgot I can do that! Wait, I can do that on the fly, or I need to find a stomach cord for that? What the hell?
You need to find stomach cords for it, which I specifically tracked down to be able to do so.
Oh, I have a hunt to do that. What the hell? I need those two on my Orbiter, like, yesterday.
Maybe that'll be our first video game collab, Daenerys.
Oh, for sure. Don't doubt it. It's either that or Soul Link. I've been trying to do a Pokemon Nuzlocke Soul Link.
I'm so bad at Nuzlocks.
Yeah, it's hard to gather people to do that too, also, because Soul Link, for those who don't know, it's basically a classic Nuzlocke, but you have a partner that also plays the exact same game or a different version of the same game, same gen and all of that, and you share the typing of the Pokemons and all of that. It's weird. It's a fun, weird way to do a Nuzlocke, but yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great in execution. It's very much different.
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody who's a strong partner, you can lose your entire party and the Nuzlocke very easily. So you have to pick a partner, hopefully wisely, and make sure that you both can stay in the game for as long as you can, because it's not just you you're depending on, it's your partner as well.
Yeah, it's either that or doing a Nuzlocke by yourself, which is fine also, but you have the trouble, at least in my opinion, when doing a Nuzlocke, I have the issue that I want the final evolutions of my Pokemon, but I cannot achieve that with the trade evolutions. So...
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But, it's a fun time, I guess.
Yeah, what I would recommend is with Scarlet and Violet, somebody has made something called a Vtuber lock, And that is what I'm trying to accomplish over on my stream.
I was about to mention that, yeah. That seems like a really interesting idea.
Yeah, it's much easier than the traditional Nuzlocke. Probably soul locking that way might be easier, but also it does put people like me who are like bug and grass based at an extreme advantage or disadvantage depending on the area that you're in.
Or the game. Like, let's say you need to grab the grass started on Gen 2. You will be on a disadvantage there, but still you can pick up. Besides, it's not like a regular Nuzlocke. You are not losing the Pokemon if they faint, right?
Yeah, okay. That's the main reason why I started the Vtuber lock, is because of the no fainting condition is completely removed, as well as the no items condition is completely removed. The main parts is just find Pokemon that match your Vtuber lore, and make sure that they all survive the fight as much as possible.
To be completely honest, the no items rule, I technically applied it anyways because I don't like using items on battle unless it's an equipable one on the Pokemon. I prefer healing my Pokemons after the battle.
Yeah, there have been times where I've needed to use a revive or a potion if I get like one shot, for example, and that's a Pokemon I really need on my team.
Yeah,
I don't use items much either.
Yeah. Also,
kind of a hard head in that way.
Yeah, honestly, like, I like using items on battles every now and then, but there are some items that I think are, at least in my opinion, for a casual level, very useless and are a waste of money. Like, the potions is fine because you can use them after the battle on whatever reason you have. The revives are also super useful, but what about the X items? For example, those are pretty useless. They are not like the calcium and all the vitamins you can give your Pokemon. Those you can use off the battle, and those are useful if you want a specific stat to go up, but even then. The X items are good if you know how to use them, and as far as I know, I don't know how. So that's that. Yeah,
especially for like the target audience being younger children, they're not gonna know how to use that competitively. So
they barely will use the potions, to be honest. Like,
they
will heal up a Pokemon while they're being attacked. So that's a common thing.
But that being said, I never learned how to properly use them. Honestly, for as much as I've played the Pokemon franchise, you'd think I'd be heavily competitive.
Nah.
I still struggle to remember typing, so...
Honestly, there is a difference between a fan, an enthusiast, and a competitive player. Like, it's a really nice balanced triangle. A Pokemon fan will be a fan not just of the games, if not the whole media franchise, like movies, games, anime, all of that. They will enjoy their time with the franchise itself, no matter the thing they get.
Yeah.
When it comes to a Pokemon enthusiast, is usually the one that just enjoy one part of the franchise. It's either all just the anime, or just the games, or just the cards. And they're happy with that. They are not pro players, but they enjoy what they want, and they play every game just because of it.
Yeah,
then you have the competitive player that goes hard on every single entry and every single card game. It's just one of them. Like, if you're a pro player on both, more power to you. I don't know how the fuck did you manage to balance Pokemon card games and Pokemon pro play. It's insane. And then you have the Nuzlockers that are kind of like an extra branch of the competitive type of Pokemon. Like, it's like casual Pokemon, but try hard.
Yeah.
You don't want to compete against other people, but you want to have a perfect game. Like, no faintings at all.
Yeah. You say that with the whole having not only enjoying the anime, but also the card game. And most of my desk right now is being taken up by Pokemon cards. I collect Pokemon cards as well as play the games.
Yeah.
I do watch the movies and the anime occasionally, but I'm not up to date in the slightest on anything. It's something that I dip in and out of with the anime and the movies.
Honestly, same. Like, I think I stopped after the Johto season, like way
gotcha.
back. Like, I was in elementary school when that thing started, so I stopped there.
Yeah, with the anime, I think I stopped at Diamond and Pearl. So I'm not too ahead of you there on that. But with the movies, I think the last one I saw involved Koopa. So I'm a little bit more recent on the movie part.
I mean, the movies are one completely different thing, so that's that.
It's
cool.
fair, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Also, yeah, I'm not big of a fan of the movies. I think I just saw the first one, the one with Mewtwo on it, and that's it. Like, that's the only movie I watch of Pokemon, honestly.
Gotcha.
I forgot to. Hold on. There. Alright. Now, the tracking is better. The thing is, when it comes to other medias of other games, like, what do you enjoy watching? Like, do you have other games that have other media around that you are kind of watching or keeping an eye out?
Let me think. For me, I don't typically like watch much like movies or anime or TV in general. So I have to think about that.
Yeah, it's understandable. Like, again, I host a show talking about video games, and the other thing I do on streams is basically just play games. So
Yeah.
you kind of have an idea of what I like, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's very obvious that I don't watch too much anime and too much movies. Like, I'm pretty basic on that. I'm a Dragon Ball fan, I'm a One Punch Man fan, I'm a JoJo fan. That's all you get on me when it comes to anime manga. When it comes to movies, though, I barely watch movies. Like, I watched the entire Avengers trilogy, whatever the fuck that is.
Oh,
I tried to keep up with the cinematic universe, but I don't like Iron Man 2, damn it! And the Captain American movies both bore me. Both.
Oh man. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I try to keep up with the universe as well, so I totally get
It's
that.
hard.
But there's so many that come out so often that it slips through the cracks for me.
For sure. Like, it's hard for me only to keep up with just one of the characters of the cinematic universe, and even then it's hard to keep up because they are also connected to everything else, and it's hard. And besides, I don't have the money to go to the movies every time a new movie comes out, and I'm not
Yeah,
big
exactly.
of it. I'm not a big of a fan of it. The last time I remember going for a movie to it was, I think, when Endgame came out. That was, I think,
yeah.
the last movie I watched, and I have to admit that movie was great on the cinema. It was super good. But after that, I remember also going for the Kimetsu no Yaiba movie. I think it's called Mugen Train. That movie looked good and made me cry one time, but honestly, I lost interest on Kimetsu after that movie. I don't know why though. I just lost interest. It looks pretty, but that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah. I can't think of anything. I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain about it, and yeah, I don't think of any like game media that isn't video games that I'm not looking forward to. There's plenty to look forward to on the actual video game side of things, but not like movies or media or anything.
Then let's try the Uno reverse then. What about other medias that have games? What games from other media do you enjoy?
Okay, so let me just pull up my Steam list here.
Wait, what? Wow.
Oh man.
Oh.
Because if we're to talk about other things that I enjoy, regardless of Pokemon or Warframe, there are definitely a couple franchises that do come to mind that I'm looking forward to that are coming up that I'm watching more closely. But as far as media that turned into video games, I also can't think of anything on that end either. Because I'm not somebody who, like, for example, like The Walking Dead when it came out, now it has video games attached to it or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a funny thing when it comes to some franchise adapting video games to their, well, franchises. Sometimes it can be so far from the like material that is more popular than the game itself. For example, The Walking Dead, I think it's based more on the comics, or I don't remember if it's based on the comics or is their own thing on the same universe. But I remember the games are completely different from the TV show and the comics as far as I know. But that's that. Then you have games like the Batman Arkham series. Those play with the character on an original setting for the game. There was also one Batman game that was, I think, cancelled. That was called Batman by Gaslight. That was a setting on a really cool setting, like on the, I think it's on a steampunk London. Type of city, and that thing looked really great.
That is one of the few movies I've actually watched.
Batman by Gaslight? Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend and I went on a Batman kick for a little while.
Nice. Yeah. Sometimes a good kick for movies is really good to have. You want to keep up.
Yeah, but I also agree with you in the fact of, like, a lot of media doesn't seem to exactly follow when you take, like, a movie or game adaptation and or rather a film adaptation in some regard, and you put it in a video game. A lot of times they don't do it proper justice, so I've just stopped. Like, why be disappointed over and over again? Unless it's a franchise you already love from the beginning. Like, how people were describing the Pokemon games, because that's the only thing I can think of, is where if you like Pokemon, you're gonna like the game, but if you're just looking for a game to play, you're gonna hate it. And that's kind of how I feel with a lot of the media-based movies. If you're doing something for that specific franchise, you're probably going to end up loving it. But if you're just playing it for a game to play, you're not going to understand it nearly, unless you consume all the media and movies attached to that specific game.
Yeah, like some franchises are hard to keep up because you need to be grabbed by the beginning, and then you have people like that likes to just bitch about it. Like, this new Pokemon game is so buggy, it's so horrible, or something like that, or the graphics are not up to par for them. Dude, it's a fucking Switch game. It looks like a GameCube game, and that's not an insult. That's a compliment. It looks great. Dear Lord. If you're going to bitch about graphics on Switch, do it with Breath of the Wild. Do it with Mario Odyssey. Do it with those games. Those games look great, dude. Same with the Pokemon games. What the hell? I know they're buggy, but, well, that's that. Highest media grossing of all time, I guess. What the hell?
Yeah, and I mean, I played Skate 3, so I am no stranger to bugs and glitches. I enjoy them, quite frankly. So bring it on. The buggier the better, as long as it's playable, you know? And also,
the game is playable.
Content.
Yeah, the game is playable and it's funny to watch. So that's that.
Yeah, I haven't encountered anything like game breaking, so what are people complaining about? It's not deleting your save data. At least for most people that I've seen. I have not seen a complaint yet.
No, it's just breaking the whole 3D models themselves. That's the only thing it's doing. Unless it's irreparable damage, but I think the only thing you can get, like, as a major bug that needs to be fixed is maybe your game closing out of nowhere and not saving your data properly. But aside of that, it's fine.
Yeah, that also is very much the case. It's nothing breakable, or rather, like, nothing game-breaking, I should say. So I don't necessarily see what the problem is on that front. I feel like people hold things to higher expectations than they really should. Like, they want Game Freak to make a AAA game out of the gate, with like God of War graphics. Like that's not gonna happen for Game Freak for a while. Why are you holding somebody to the standard of other companies, for one?
Besides,
and two,
that's not possible even because of the Switch limitations. If you can
yeah,
have
and
a game like God of War running on a Switch, maybe it's possible, but I don't know. Well, you technically have something like that on Monster Hunter Rise, and even then, Game Freak has a lot going on with the franchise itself. Like, it's the highest grossing media of all time at this point.
Yeah,
they have the resources to do it, but I don't know. It's weird.
It depends on how much Nintendo gets a cut, really, I think. Because that's another thing to consider, paying the employees and playing Nintendo for the property rights. That's probably going to be a pretty penny. Not only that...
I thought Game Freak was the one holding the rights to Pokemon, and Nintendo was the one paying publisher rights.
Something like that. Somebody's paying money some which way, but I can't imagine that they aren't paying Nintendo something to use the Pokemon label, but who knows?
I mean, there's a lot of Pokemon media that needs to be paid. The anime needs to be paid. The cards need to be paid. The movies need to be paid. Both the IRL Detective Pikachu movie and the other spin-off games, all of that needs to be paid. And if we really think about it, having an anime like Pokemon, having almost a year release of seasons at this point, it has to cost something, you know? Like, all of that has to come from the Pokemon company in general. Game Freak is just a developer for that. The Pokemon company itself, it's paying, I think it's sharing the money with all the persons they needed to make the content based on Pokemon, like the games, the anime, the movies, everything.
Yeah, and the other thing I think people are failing to take into account time and time again is, at least because I'm interested in game development to some degree, so I have tried to research and figure out what goes on more behind the scenes, because that's where I wanted to be myself. And a lot of developers, especially for these big companies that have to answer to places like Nintendo, have to suffer a lot of time crunch. And they can't put everything they want in the game or take as much time with the game as possible, because they've got somebody breathing down their neck saying, hey, we need this by this time, whether we like it or not. And on the other side of that, if the company says, hey, we need more time, and pushback happens, because a lot of the fans get angry saying, why are you delaying this game like half a year, 2 years? You should have it ready by the day that you promised, not realizing the developer probably has little to do with that, if anything. It's probably whoever holds the IP pushing things out.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a battle between the developers, the developing time, and the release date, because when it comes to releasing games, one thing to keep in mind is, where are you shooting the game on? Because you can have a really good year, you have a really good date there, but there so happens to be another really big title dropping on that specific date. Let's say, for example, you want to release your Pokemon game on October, but you have other franchise like God of War, Metal Gear, or whatever big franchise having a really cool title at that time, which happened with Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, because they released really, really close to God of War. And to be completely honest, I'm surprised it didn't affect the sales of the game itself, because God of War is really big too. But you also have the fact that Sonic Frontiers also came out on the same month, and that game is not doing really good. That's an example of what I'm talking about. Releasing a game alongside another big franchise.
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing, is also a fucking war.
Oh yeah, marketing is awful, especially with like the couple major monopolies that are within the company.
Oh, for sure.
I think with the open world concept, or at least greater open world concept, a lot of people drove to Pokemon, but had they had that element just in there from the start, it probably wouldn't have done as well, but they needed that kind of mass innovation, and it worked out in their favor, it seems like.
Yeah. Also, hey Emma. We were just talking
Hello,
about
Emma.
were talking about the funny timing Sonic Frontiers had when it released just a few days before God of War. That was funny. Like, I don't know if it affected the sales of Sonic Frontiers, since Sonic Frontiers came out on basically every platform up to date: Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. I think it came out on everything. So the sales for that game, it's not that much of a deal because it has other platforms to compensate. But even then, it's funny to just think about it.
I feel like, in a way, though, there's always going to be the diehard fan of the one franchise that's just foaming at the mouth for the next new game. But also the gamers who are willing to multitask, or the streamers who may not be playing the same game every day. So I feel like the sales being affected at this point are going to end up being more negligible as time goes on.
That's also a thing that can help a game a lot, the streamers. Like, the content creator in general, it has an important paper when it comes to game releases. If you have a game, an indie game specifically, an indie game in most cases, that it's grabbed by a popular streamer and it's enjoying its time, it's sharing with a lot of people, those people will most likely go to that game and enjoy them too, which will generate more sales. That happens with a lot of indie games, like Ultra Kill, for example. That game got picked up by a lot of people, and that game is great.
I believe that's... Yeah, I think that's why Five Nights at Freddy's got so popular, because Markiplier, Jacksepticeye started playing it.
Five Nights at Freddy, Vending Machine, Slenderman, all of the indie horror games you can think of, they were popularized by YouTubers and streamers.
Oh man, you mentioned Slenderman. That was probably my first technical Let's Play way back in the day, where I even knew what I was doing.
Dear Lord, yeah.
It may be lost to time because I played with a friend that I no longer speak to, but I remember looking it up years later and seeing, oh hey, the Slenderman game Let's Play that we did was still up at that time. But yeah, I was nowhere near a streamer then. It was just me and my friend messing around and recording it for some reason. I don't know what it was. We just thought it would be a good idea. The times where things were simpler. Playing Slenderman, getting those 8 pages.
Yeah, and the game gets old really fast once you play it more than once, to be completely honest. Like, I think one of the games that was popularized by people on the internet and ended up being a huge hit at this point was Minecraft. At the end of the day, Minecraft is getting popular thanks to the content creators that keep playing the fuck out of that game.
Yeah, especially with this SMP type thing coming out. Everybody seems to be making an SMP server these days.
True, like, dear lord, there's a lot of Minecraft servers now.
Yeah. I used to be a part of
Wait, what is the SMP stands for? Like, I don't get it.
Oh, survival multiplayer. I had to learn that myself.
Oh.
So I completely get it.
Yeah, when it comes to Minecraft, I have a really bothering issue, which is I get migraines after 30 minutes of playing that. It happens with a lot of games actually, like lately. I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic also, which by the way, I recommended tons of it. It's really fun to play with people. And that game is giving me motion sickness a little bit lately. Oh. Like, I get a headache that lasts for a little while.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think it's because of the movement and all of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Generally, the developers, if they are willing to be accessible to their players who may not be able to play their game as quite intended, that there should be some kind of motion sickness. I believe I've seen that in Minecraft.
Yeah, there is options to remove the movement of the, at least on Minecraft, to remove the movement of your character. Like, you know how you kind of bounce every time you move on Minecraft a little bit? You can remove that. You can remove that for sure, but the Minecraft for some reason keeps coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you figure out whatever's causing your headaches. That does not sound fun.
No, it's kinda not, because it's pushing me from playing with friends, and even then I have to do a hustle to get Minecraft running because, well, I don't have Minecraft, and I have to play the pirated version. Good thing there's way around that, but still, Jesus.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever join an SMP, I'll be honest. Back in my teenage years, I played on a Minecraft server, but it was a creative server. The people who do the super elaborate big build kind of server. So I keep trying to play Minecraft survival and I feel so lost. It's so different in comparison to just sitting there and building what you want.
It's 2 games in one.
Yeah. And I mean, props to Minecraft for being that versatile in the way of it's a game where you can control a lot of the aspects within it.
Yeah, you can
which helps the longevity quite a bit.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's great.
I've heard that there's somebody who's recreated Disneyland from the ground up in Minecraft, and to me that is phenomenal.
There's a lot of constructions like that. There is people that make some real-size Star Wars ships.
Oh yeah.
Hogwarts.
I knew somebody like that. Yeah.
I think someone made Hogwarts, like the Harry Potter school. There's a lot of constructions I cannot even keep up.
Yeah, I used to be the server that I was in. Somebody had recreated one of the Star Trek ships to scale.
Yo.
Something that happens, yeah.
Nice.
It was really cool to go inside. I didn't properly appreciate it then because I was not familiar with Star Trek in the slightest. But looking back on it, now I can appreciate how much effort it went to do that to scale.
Oh, for sure.
I was never quite that talented, but I was definitely surrounded by talent.
Yeah, you can just learn from them.
Yeah, very inspiring.
Also, let's go back a little bit to Warframe. How much have you been playing since Wisp's release?
So according to Steam proper, let me pull that up because it will tell me. I believe I have over 2,000 hours. Yeah, 2,025.4 hours.
How many I have? Oh, right. 2,851.
Okay, so yeah, right now with my computer setup, my computer does overheat a little faster, so I haven't been getting into it as much as I want to. That would probably be closer to yours now if I had that chance, but trying not to stress out my computer too much.
Understandable. Okay, this might sound a little bit downing, but I believe you don't have more than 1,000 hours, or at least more than plus 1,000 hours in game itself, because the time itself on game is not the same on Steam, because the time in game only counts when you are on missions. It doesn't count the time you spend on the orbiter, which usually is a lot of time when you're waiting for people and all of that.
That's true, and Warframe, to one of those games, also has a lot of longevity, and you can create your own path. There's a lot of stuff to do, and one of the things that I did do for a little while was helping out newbies in the new chat. Once they opened up that new chatter thing, I was taking newbies under my wing and educating them on what it means to play Warframe and how to get the best out of your experience for the levels that they were. So, yeah, that's probably a little warped by that, with me taking newbies under the wing. But, still, it's a great game regardless, and I've spent way too many hours into it over the past couple of years.
Yeah, honestly, I just spend my time doing grinding. I grind crazy. I just remember one time I was literally just bored out of hell, and I just wanted to grab every single weapon from the dojo and level that up.
Yep, I've done that as well.
And the hell that was grinding for a fucking severe, I'm not going to forget that. They still owe me for that.
I still hold a grudge for the 70 to 80 tries it took for me to build Equinox completely.
Don't even tell me about it. I spent 3 hours of my life fighting Tile Rigor one and time again, so I can get just one fucking blueprint for Equinox.
Yep.
Honestly,
that's how
it's
it is.
more worth it to just buy the relics for Equinox Prime now and just farm that. Dear lord.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a completionist. It never ends up panning out as much as I try to push my goals to that.
Honestly,
But...
honestly, same. Like, my objective at the time was literally get every single, at least base Warframe.
Yeah,
and I
that was
did
me
it
too.
Until, like, Sevagoth came out, until Baruch, Saku, every single one of them came out.
Yeah.
And I cannot farm them. The only one I'm still farming up, like, recently is the new Warframe Varuna, which, funny enough, it's the first frame since, I think, Wisp? You can farm on a planet node without Railjack. Well, you kinda need a Necromech, but not at the same time. You can farm that on a survival now, on Lua.
Oh, cool.
So
That's good to know.
yeah, so it's I think the first frame that you do not need to farm outside of the regular planet system.
Oh, good to know. Yeah, I haven't loaded up Warframe since the last set of expansions came out, so I have not looked at the new Warframe yet. They're absolutely gorgeous, though. Love the detailing, so that will be something I will hunt for when I can.
Also, technically, you can farm like other new frames. Like I think it's the sentient Warframe. I don't remember the name now. You can farm it on the on the Saruman's place, doing those missions, which are nodes technically on the system. You can also do the Carl missions to farm Steinax, which honestly, it's literally just a classic Warframe like Frost, Mag, and all of those that are simple frames that work and do their job. It's funny. It's the 50th Warframe and we're going back to basics. I love it.
Hey, you know, nothing wrong with that.
And also the missions with Carl are fun. Like are a fun little distraction if you want to change of base. It's funny to play as a Grenier, and I can't wait to play as a Corpus too.
Yeah, honestly, they did themselves with that quest line and the frames that have come out recently. I also do not have Calyrex.
I mean, Calyrex. That's the one I'm forgetting, Calyrex.
Yeah. But if I remember right, that's what their name is. Something like that.
Calyrex,
maybe I'm confusing it with a Pokemon, come to think of it, but
no, there
it's
is
enough name, you know?
I remember there is a Warframe with that name. To be honest, it's hard to keep up. There are more than 50.
Yeah.
Which is
no matter
not a
what.
lot compared to Pokemons, but still though. We're going for
at the end of the day, I have my main, and honestly, I have yet to find anything that works as well as my Volt Prime does, so...
Honestly, I'm still finding someone to keep up with what I do with my Rhino, but there is options to have for a tank, but Rhino is just covering a lot of areas. Like, you need CC, you have your 4. You need armor, you have your augmented 1 and your 2. You're immortal, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah. With my Volt Prime, I've created a build where he runs nearly on infinite energy at this point.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I can hit my 4, I can hit my 1. I have the shields replaced by a Helminth ability that overcharges any ability I use after it. So, and also have a mod that the last major streak of Warframe that I did that I farmed to get, where you start off with full energy.
Yo.
And with the build that I have 850 energy pool.
I need
so
that.
essentially, I don't run out for a long while. It's great. I love my build.
Dear Lord, that might be a little bit overkill, but I will put that mod on Ivara, so I can just do espionage invisible the whole time. I'm like, nah, I'm not getting detected. I'm getting the stealth kills. there.
Yeah, as far as the other one that I have that on, I have her to a build where she has such a slow drain that I can complete any mission with ease.
Hmm.
So she stays invisible for as long as I need to.
Yeah.
She's great. I love her. Those are the two builds that I am the most proud of at this point.
I almost started the challenge, but then I gave up. I just said, no, it would be too much time consuming. Like, having 100 formas on a rhino is no. Although it's possible, I can do it. I can farm for it. I have a shitload of relics to farm blueprints for formas, so I can do it. But, dude, 100 formas in and of itself, getting those in the first place is no. 12 hours per forma, and you need to get 100. No, thank you. Like, the getting of the blueprints is not the hard part, it's the fun part actually, but the building all of those, no.
Yeah, I still think that's wild to me, that person who's put like 1,000 forma on their rhino. Like, why did you do that to yourself?
Because Rathalius is going for the content, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough if you want to do something silly for content, but the fact that more people started to emulate that and do that just for fun too.
It's a fun challenge. Like, it's an endurance challenge. If you do it with your favorite warframe, you'll do it. Then Rathalius goes, oh, you're doing it with your favorite? Here, take your worst frame, like the one you hate the most, and do it. The guy literally goes, gives 1,000 of those frames and 100 formas so he can use it on that specific frame, and it's like, bro, why?
Why? Yeah, exactly. Why?
I thank you for the warframe slots. I might need it for the future 1,000 updates, but what the hell?
Yeah, at some point it gets to be excessive where I don't even think Digital Extremes is going to touch it. I don't think you'll ever need 1,000 forma in your lifetime. I hope not.
No, unless you're thinking of putting formas on all this stuff. Like, you have your weapons. I think on a lifetime you can use 100 formas. Like, a few for a few frames, a few for a few weapons, and here and there, and you get 100 formas easily on those things.
100. Yeah, 100 or 1,000, that makes complete sense. But I don't think you'll need one on one singular warframe or weapon ever, hopefully.
At all. I think the tops you might need for a build maybe will be 6 to change every single polarity you have on a frame. And you want a specific build and the polarities on a frame don't work at all. Which is funny because the warframes itself, they come with the correct polarities of the kinda optimized build you can do.
Yeah.
It's fun. So, it's fun to play with it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, DE, I don't feel like is known for their masochism, but also with Soulsframe coming out soon.
Oh, dear Lord, I want to try that.
Yeah, me too. I'm very, very excited for Soulsframe. I really hope that the Souls part of it isn't a Souls-like, but we'll see. That may be the one Souls-like game I have to choke through if that's the case.
Hey, if you really think about it, going from one of the easiest games they've released to one of the hardest will be funny.
Yeah,
like,
that would be pretty fun.
At a certain point, Warframe becomes pretty easy if you know what you're doing. Like, managing the mods doesn't take that much time, and you can just look up for builds on the regional chat or on a page and all that. Just getting the mods a little bit will be a pain, but still
yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm playing it on stream though.
Oh, for sure. Just remember to not overheat your computer. I try to... Okay, so when it comes to summer on my end, it gets so heated that I can lose my lights off, like, just because of the heat of the moment. And trying to play Halo Infinite, it overheats a lot of my stuff. Like, a lot.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's also similar to where I live as well. Not so much the lights go off though, but I feel like with where I live, the infrastructure might be a little better, more prepared for that, just because of the area that I'm in, perhaps.
Maybe.
But who knows? I also lived on a area where the lights would go out at the smallest inconvenience, so I also get that side too.
Dear lord.
Like, you breathe wrong, the lights are out. It was bad.
At least on my end, I don't have to experience the lights out too much, but that's a recurrent problem on my end. Like, my area gets a lot of temperature that can affect the lights. At least for a little bit, not too much.
Yeah, my main problem is even still with like this fan that I have that's running on top of my computer. I can't stream with it because my microphone is too sensitive for the time being. However, I'm looking into getting a new microphone, so hopefully maybe that'll change. I'll be able to run my air conditioner and run my fan, and hopefully that'll solve my problem streaming-wise, and I'll be able to play Warframe more comfortably. But we'll see.
I mean, I play Warframe even if I'm doing a keyboardism, I don't care. At this point, I don't care. I just play or just run with it. Which is funny because I have a blue snowball here. And you can hear when I click on the keyboard and even sometimes my mouse, but when I'm doing another thing like playing with my controller and all of that, it doesn't pick up at all. It picks up a little bit if there is a sound nearby, like a few meters, but not that much, fortunately.
Yeah. I have a blue snowball ice, so I know where you're coming from. I'm looking into other options, getting better quality.
Now that I think about it, doing a karaoke with this mic will be funny.
Oh?
I'm not looking forward to that, but I have to do it. Yeah.
I still haven't figured out the whole, like, how to set everything up karaoke-wise. One day.
I'm just going to go the simple way and do it with my voice mod, but the mic on my voice mod will pick up a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I noticed voice mod is hypersensitive.
Yeah, in some areas it is, and in some areas it isn't, because, as you know, the blue snowball picks everything up, like every minute sound, but on voice mod, it has a certain noise suppressor that it works, like, it suppresses the noises.
Yeah. My blue snowball mic, I swear, can pick up my thoughts sometimes.
I know, right?
Like, it's that sensitive, I feel.
Literally, I'm hungry, my mic is picking it up. Like, how the fuck did you pick that up? Like, it's insane, dude. It's insane.
Why can you hear people, like, 3 doors down doing stuff? Like, come on.
Bro. I have thick walls and I can still hear it. I can hear the shooting on the action movie my mom is watching in the next room. What the fuck?
Yeah. That's why I want a new microphone, so I can be able to run my air conditioner that's in the same room as me and be able to, not die.
Same.
Because especially with games that run my computer hot, like Warframe, I really need it. So
yeah, the processor is screaming for air, so it's possible. Have you tried lowering the quality of the game like a few pegs, so if that works with it or not?
Yeah, I mean, there's also I'm bugged when things are lower quality.
I mean, that tends to happen.
Pun slightly intended. The nice thing, though, is now that I have the capture card, thanks to an absolutely sweet antenna friend of mine, that I can at least play things on a console that does not overheat.
You're not playing on a PS4, aren't you?
No.
Because because that would be weird. Oh, also, we have crossplay on Switch now. Like, it's activated. The beta is up.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. That same person was the first to tell me, hey, Warframe has crossplay enabled. We can play together. Like,
Let's
yes,
go.
please. Which, that might be the way that I have to go if my computer is still doing the overheating issues. I might actually start a new file on the Switch.
No, you don't need to start a new file. That's the thing. You can have your stuff from the PC version if you have the account. At least you're supposed to, yeah.
Oh, because that was something that I heard was going to be implemented. All I heard was that cross-play was enabled, not cross-save.
Oh, right, the cross-save is another thing. I wish that was over there. I don't know if it is.
Yeah, it's not the same thing, but now that cross-play is enabled, they've now switched their focus to cross-save, from what I understand.
Maybe it will
So hopefully we'll
like,
get cross-save soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I believe they will do what they did before, like they will start with just one platform for a beta of cross-save, then we'll implement it on the rest a few months later. Like they did that with the Xbox, they might do it with the Xbox again, maybe PlayStation, and they just go back to every platform. That will be fun.
Yeah, the other streamer dilemma though is whether or not to start with an account that's already established, like mine, that does, like, yeah, I'm missing some equipment, sure, but I'm done with all the story, and all that is under my belt, versus starting a fresh account and having the viewers go on an adventure with you. So I've been going back and forth on that, but I might end up playing on the Switch, perhaps.
Doing a new account, trust me when I tell you, I roll around with the idea, I even stream with a new account, but it's so overwhelming, the fact that you have everything and you have to start from scratch on Warframe of all places. Like, let's say you start a new game, you play through the Vor first adventure thing, you escape war and you have the keys to every single planet, like to explore everything and everywhere. Yeah. It's so overwhelming the amount of content you have in front of you, even more if you know what content is in front of you. Like, you're starting from scratch on a game that has a lot to go through. You have to go all through the adventures, all of the planets, all the nodes, all
the story,
all the frames you need to farm back from scratch to get them on the mastery. Leveling up the mastery in of itself, like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean it can be overwhelming, sure, but that's also great for, like, content-wise. If you have a fan base who's very interested in Warframe, then that's a breeze. Yeah. And you have people who are stuck with you forever, kind of thing.
True.
Which I do admire those people who can just stick to one thing. For right now, I'm still finding my niche, I think. So I don't know where my niche is going to necessarily fall, whether it be Pokemon or Warframe or something entirely different. Who knows?
I mean, I just complete games. If I play any multiplayer game, I might be on a collab or I might just vibing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
the collabs are nice because it gets you into something different.
It's fun. It's a nice change of pace if you are playing a lot of single-player games. I played, like, to just escape a little bit of the single-player content, I play Rumbleverse every now and then, and it's fun. It's a fun time, even if you're playing solo.
Yeah, I'm actually not very good at fighting games, I'll be perfectly honest. I tried Rumbleverse, and I'm not very good at Smash, so it, like, directly correlates.
It happens, like, it's a thing it's hard to get used to. Like, it's different, a lot. It's super different from other stuff. I even consider that a beat 'em up more than a fighting game because you're playing against more than one people.
Yeah, that's true. The closest fighting game I ever got to learning was Soul Calibur, but that's all long gone now.
I believe it's the GameCube version.
Oh, GameCube version?
Yeah, the Soul Calibur 2. I believe that's the one you're trying to learn.
Yeah, I've played a couple different Soul Calibur games. 2, 3, 4, and 6, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Whatever's the latest one that came
6.
out, I
yeah,
have it on
Soul Calibur
Steam.
6. Will you have that? Wow.
Yes, I do. I have it for PC and I believe Xbox as well.
Wow.
But again, I'm not good at it, so I hardly play it. I mainly got it for the character creator. I won't lie, I'm quite the customization fiend.
Honestly, I will play the game just for that. I love character customization. Yeah. I love that.
Same, absolutely same.
I don't know why I love some fighting games.
That might actually be. I just got an idea for a fun adventure. I could try and make Zane and Soul Calibur.
Makes sense.
Might be a low-key just chatting stream, you know, just make my character try anyway. That might be a little later down the line though when I get my version 2. 'Cause I don't know if I can get close on this model particularly. Because yes, that's in the works, but I don't have a timeline of when I'm getting my new model.
Are you getting a 2D or 3D?
3D.
Oh.
Next one after that, I'm going to be making 2D by hand.
Yeah, let's go.
I think it's time. I love 3D, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of movement and a lot less thinking on the rigging aspect of it, which helps a lot, but I don't know. I feel like making my own 2D model when I can hardly keep myself to working on one layer would be a fun challenge for me.
Honestly, like, in my case, for example, I'm sticking with 3D because of, well, it's more open when it comes to customizations. Like, for example, I have this antenna, right?
Uh-huh.
I can literally just grab my base model, add the antenna, and that's it. Like, it's just a 1-2 punch, really quick add-on. Same with animal ears, same with another costume. I have I have doors that are the size of a building open to do whatever the fuck I want. When it comes to 2D though, I will take hours on top of hours trying to figure out how to put X costume on X model. I have to do it on the same style of the model, if not it will look weird. I have to make a toggle for the costume. I have to make even, well, the expression will be the exact same because I will have the same expressions, but changing the costume even of itself on the reading part will be super chaotic.
Yeah, that's part of why I want to make my own model, because then the art style is going to be consistent regardless, because I can just add whatever I want, and then I'll be able to rig it myself, so I'll know how to do all that.
That's the other part. The rigging part of the model, it's hard, because you have to rig from scratch everything. Because it will not look good, or it will miss a lot of the rigging if you try to rig a new costume on the same model you have before. Like, it's at least for me, it seems like it will be super hard to do, like a lot of work. That's better just doing the model again, like rigging it again with the different costume. Also, you need to take into account the limit of layers you have on Live 2D, because the free version limits you to 30 layers, I believe, or 50.
Oh, okay, good to know. I actually was not aware of that.
Yeah.
That is very, very nice to know.
Yeah, Live 2D limits you a lot with the free version. Also, I would wait a little bit for the dark mode, because holy shit, you get blinded for how wide that is. Like, oh, dude. I cannot look at that without getting a migraine for a few minutes.
Same. Lord. And also, even though my model is not fully on screen at the moment due to the technical issues we were having earlier, but I do want to give you a shout out for helping me rig my face and my antennas.
I mean, it's easy when you figure out the program after a while.
Yeah, you helped me a lot with getting my model to look as good as it does, and I thank you dearly still for that. Every time somebody asks me about it, I give you a shout out.
Hey, don't give me all the credit, because 9 times out of 10 that model is yours and the texture is also yours. Like, the 90% of that model is yours. The only thing I did is giving you 1 or 2 tips to how to place some stuff, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, but you did help me with a lot of, like, what I consider the charm points to my model, like my antennas being fully rigged and move with me when I move my head. And also with my hair as well. So those things I definitely appreciate.
Honestly, thank God you don't have a tail. Because with a tail, I might have to throw on your way Unity. And we don't want that. Because for a tail, it's different, because you need to put the bones on the back of your back. And the focal point of the tail, it's still on the head because it's still hair. You need to change that to be on the lower end of your back, so it sticks to your back and not your head. It's weird. I still trying to figure that out.
But we have it easy in the world of Vroid, at least for anything on the head, and we can just make little hair spouts and rig those.
Hell, with the possibilities you have with Vroid nowadays, like custom textures, you can customize your shading whenever you want, in whatever shape or form you want. You have the possibility to make horns, to make wings, to make whatever you want, and make it work. Because at the end of the day, it's just playing with the textures, most of it. Like my hat, for example, that's hair. I just put a texture on the material and that's it.
Yeah,
Same with the
that's
antenna.
awesome.
Same thing with the antenna, this is just hair. The custom itself, I have to delete some parts of the texture so it works and it doesn't mess around with the meshes and all that. And it works.
Yeah.
I get the job done.
And, I mean, for anybody who's interested in getting into Vroid, you can see the difference between mine and Daenerys' model, because we both have the hoodie mesh, but we both have added our own details to make the hoodies both look very unique to each other.
Yeah, I technically did a little bit of cheating because when I started with Vroid, I ended up grabbing a few of the old Vroid version textures, which are super shaded. And run with those, because even though it's an old version of Vroid and the models look a little bit ugly, the textures on the clothing is really good. Like the shading on the clothing is super good, super well rendered, at least on my standards. And I just have to recolor it a little bit and delete some parts I don't need. So that's that.
And it's honestly a shame if you are comfortable with us going into the full like VTuber 3D model tangent. It's a shame that some people look down on us for being Vroids.
Yeah, honestly, like it's the same. Like, oh, you're a PNG. What the fuck? It doesn't matter, dude. Like,
right?
We're just making content. We're just ourselves. In fact, if you want to criticize PNG tubers, look at the people that have been doing PNG tubing since 2012. The guys that literally just are a PNG that changes every single time they want to express something on a review, for example. Let's say Just Mark, for example, or Just Stop. Those guys are PNG tubers since who knows when. And they don't consider themselves VTubers, but they are technically VTubers because they use PNGs for the expressions on most of the time. Granted, they are not live streaming, they are making a video and editing the image so it matches what they're talking about or what the expression they are doing. But that still counts because we are VTubers, which means virtual YouTubers. YouTubers make videos more than streams. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Same with 3D models. Like, yeah, we are not the quality of a fully made Blender model, but we still have an avatar moving, representing ourselves. We are not 2D, we're 3D. We are not like professional made, but we still make ourselves. Like, look at me and look at Zane. We are completely different, and we are both Vroid models. Like, bro.
Yeah. And honestly, like, people are so quick to judge and so quick to hate when they honestly, like, more people need to take a step back and just appreciate the artistry.
I mean,
because at the end of the day, no matter if you're a PNG, if you're a Vroid, if you're a live 2D, or if you're something else entirely, because I've seen a couple people who are just full 3D rendered models without Vroid, like, it's, at the end of the day, you do you. There are people who are made completely in Unity. And no matter what you choose as your platform, I feel like it's unfair to cast judgment on the people who don't conform to just one ideal, because there are so many people who have so many unique qualities.
I mean, the model is just one thing. What it's important technically is the content behind that model. You can have a very simple Vroid model, but your charisma carries it up a lot. Like, there is I think it's a Mexican guy that only uses an Ugandan Knuckles model on VR chat, and the guy is just popping off. He's one of the most popular streamers on Twitch. It's
Yeah.
insane. And it's a really ugly Oganda Knuckles model, to be honest. Like, it glitches out a lot.
Yeah,
That's
to
what
some
makes
people,
it
that's
funny.
also it's part of the charm, exactly.
Yeah. Also, consider playing around with Vroid. It's literally just a Sims character creator, but in steroids are way more glitchy. It's funny.
Fair, yeah.
It's funny.
Oh,
you can
man.
you can play around with a lot of things. Like playing with the textures is one of the main things you may want to do, so your model just stand out a little bit more. And even if you
Yeah.
don't want, just play around with the colors. Again, two Vroid models, one in front of the other, both
Yep.
completely different.
Yep. I mean, we may look a little bit more similar because you're rocking the antenna today, but yeah, if you don't have it, we are completely different.
Well, I can change it on a flight if I want to, but
Yeah, that's the
Just
other
an
beauty of
option.
Vroid too. You can
Yeah.
change it on a fly.
yeah, you can have multiple Vroid models, or if you want to go the extra step, go to Unity and play around with the meshes you have. You can have multiple toggles for everything.
Here's how I can go with bridging the topic of kind of the gamification of VTubers with things like VTuber Plus and the Twitch
Oh.
integrated throwing system.
I love those little interactions with the models.
Me
Like,
too.
that's what makes VTubers more special, the interactions you can have with your chat, because you cannot throw anything to an IRL streamer. Like, you can throw
Yeah.
emotes on an emote wall, but that will not interact with the streamer in and of itself. But when it comes to VTubers, you can literally just throw a rock at me and I will literally just just go in sailor mode and insult the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
How many IRL streamers you can throw an anvil at and they'd live? Like, we are immortal.
Yeah, we're in this. We're literally immortal.
Yep, and we can pop right back up if we want to, if we need to.
Oh, for sure. It's just configuration wise. But yeah, you can do that with also 2D models, and I think you can do that with PNGs now.
Yeah.
So everybody can do that now.
Mhm.
We just
We
need a
we make
program.
ourselves the content and the video games, as well as making our own video games or playing video games.
Exactly. It's a lot of
great.
people, yeah. It's a lot of talent that is out there that are making content every day, and it's amazing, to be honest.
Yeah. And I've seen people who import game assets into things like VTuber Plus or the Twitch integrated throwing system.
Steam, for
And-
example, has a workshop dedicated to VTuber Plus, I think.
Yeah.
You can have a lot
Although,
of things there.
Yeah, if you use VTuber Plus, definitely check on it because it was taken off of Steam due to some stuff with the developer. But they did upload everything to their Discord, so you can still get access to the assets, and that's how I powered mine.
And if you have like the extra buck to just pay the 3D modeler to make an asset for you, you can throw that on there too.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully that'll be something I do one day. I do
Yeah.
want to have caterpillars thrown at me at some point.
Yeah, I want to like have channel points sometime in the future if possible. Like for me, it was a long year. Like in December 14th, I believe, it will be 1 year of me doing this, and it's
Woo.
been a long year. Like, dude, it's crazy. It
Yeah.
passed flyer a lot quicker than expected.
Mhm.
And to reach that goal, I might do a series of streams on January, because streaming on the end of December is no good. And of course, I still have IRL stuff to attend to until the 21st, and even then, after that, I have to prepare for Christmas.
That's why you tweeted out I may be your last guest for the year.
Yeah, because after this, on the 8th, I will stream the Game Awards. I want to watch the Game Awards live on Twitch. And
yes.
after that, I might stream Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if I'm able. And after that, I need to think if I can get a guest for next week or the week after that. And the week after the Game Awards is my anniversary, which I will be celebrating on Saturday. Although, hold on, I need to check on something real quick. Maybe I can celebrate it on Friday, but I'm not so sure because, well, there is some stuff going on IRL, and there is a certain rumor going around that I might be free the 16th, but I don't know about that, Chief. But the thing is, the celebration is karaoke, and I don't know how in the hell I'm going to end up the next morning. So I don't know if I will be able for a tech show after a karaoke night.
Well, thankfully you have a friend who was in choir for many years. I can give you some suggestions on how to protect your voice in the meantime.
Try playing Rules of Nature with that. Like, I'm going ham with the karaoke night. I hope I can scream, but I'm not so sure because in and of itself, I'm not a guy that likes to singing and screaming at the same time. I like to sing low, but going hard on some parts will be a shaggy fest, as I like to call it. Like you will hear me having some trouble with the voice out the wazoo. It'll be fun and a torture for both the viewers and me. So
yeah. I remember you mentioning that you were thinking of doing a watch-along with me for the Game Awards, actually.
The watch-along in and of itself, I can invite whatever. Like, I will just jump into my VC, and whoever wants to join in, it's free to do it. If you want to join me, sure, let's go.
Sweet. Yeah, let's do it. I've been looking forward to it. I have so many collabs this week, it's hard to keep straight. I have so many collabs today.
Yeah, you have 2 collabs today. Also, what?
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about collabs, what is the Vtuber? I've seen a lot of that thing, but I don't get it. How does that work?
Oh, with collabs with VTubing?
Vtuber Prom specifically.
Oh, yes. So back in, I think it was September or October. I think probably around October. It was something that was going around on Twitter where basically, like a real prom, you got asked to, or you ask somebody to prom, and today is the day that you're supposed to dedicate time to your prom date. And so the first person who I made friends with outside of like the Things VTubers Say circle, we had like basically said, hey, why not? Let's both just ask each other out to prom, quote unquote. And so, and it's kind of just a fun little celebration of your friendship or whatever relationship you have with that person. So, him and I, we're going to be playing Scarlet and Violet. as you mentioned, brain rot.
Nice.
Yep, got the brain rot. So,
honestly?
And then got a little surprise over on his channel after we're done with that.
So,
yeah.
what you're telling me is basically what I've been doing the whole year. Like, this specific show is just that.
Yeah.
Technically hang out with a friend.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
interesting.
for the artistically inclined, like you can make an art piece dedicated to all those that you've asked to prom.
Bro,
as I know.
That's the idea I have. Like, I have planned something like a few times, either do individual portraits of every single guest I have so far and put it on the wall you see on the back. Or make a huge picture with every single guest I have so far and update that like the Smash Bros banner.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I want to make that so bad. That's part of the reason why I'm drawing a lot lately. Like, I want to practice that. It's I want to do it so bad. And I considered paying someone to do that. Like, just imagine you have a wall, like a huge painting on the back on my layout, right? You have a painting with each individual guest drawn in a different style because I paid a different artist to do.
Oh yeah, Skeb would be really easy for that.
Ugh. This is the sad thing, I don't have the money. That's part of the reason why I'm drawing myself. But it's an idea. It's a cool idea. I might do that, like, I will draw myself in there just in case, and then each individual guest on a different style if possible. Or on the same style, who knows? Maybe it's just a draft.
Oh yeah. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I like the one that you have of yourself and Mega Alexel up there.
Yeah, I didn't add I didn't add. That was Emma, which is Alexel's girlfriend. She was on the first episode. She was on the first episode.
That's why the style's familiar.
Yeah, she was on the first episode of the show and decided to do that while we were rumbling for 4 hours about a lot of stuff like we were rumbling a lot in that episode. I love it. Like we were talking about from Sonic, we jumped into Tony Hawk, then we jumped into like I don't remember. I think we're talking about Earthworm Jim, which bring back Earthworm Jim. God damn it, it's been so long.
I've made a joke in the Discord that you and I frequent that you and Midori are basically you guys are just slightly different fonts from each other.
At this point,
or the same font, different style.
At this point, yeah. Okay, so this might sound a little bit rude because he doesn't like to compare his design to other things and all of that, but he's a Final Fantasy character, like specifically a 14 character. And I'm just a Sims character, if I'm being honest, design-wise.
Oh, man.
Like, I'm super bare-bones basic. But, in my case, I prefer being simple because it's more easy to add on to it.
There.
Like,
that
your design,
valid.
for example, it's similar to mine because of that. Like, your design is simple, effective, and you can add onto it later on.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I wanted because I am a caterpillar. I have that kind of unique lore aspect of change and metamorphosis. So I wanted to start out really simple at first, and the more I work on my model, the more complex I'm going to end up. So this is just like the cutesy, like more marketable version, I guess you could say. But my second version and my third version are going to be greatly more complicated than this one.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, me and Midori at this point, we are almost one and the same. Like, part of the reason why I love editing his stuff is because the sense of humor we both share, it's just perfect. Like, it's getting better every time. Yesterday I remember editing something for him. I just made one of the funniest jokes ever made. Like, it's fun. It's super fun hanging out with him and editing his stuff is just the best.
Yeah, I look forward to it, honestly. Between you and him, I love when either of you pop in the voice chat, brightens up my day.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to be a fun time no matter what.
Yeah, speaking of trends when it comes to VC, every time we talk on a VC, I end up sending at least one helpful link to you. Like, it's either mics, it's either tech, it's whatever, but it helps a lot. And I have been noticing that every time I jump into a VC, which is that. It's just that. I hit you up with something.
Like, we always talk about something or other in the VTubing space, with me being so new to it still. I mean, it's only been a month officially from debut to now.
Dear
plus
Lord.
a few days. Yeah,
you accomplished more on a month than I did on a year. Just think about that.
Yeah, you know, I do feel very lucky, and I'm very thankful for everybody who's come out and supported me thus far, including you. You've been a huge help to my content.
It's no problem. Like, I'm used to be on the back helping out people. It's something I do unconscious at this point. Like, why am I helping you? You're my competition. it's just like that. But then I think, oh wait, we are content creators. Competition is part of the thing, but we also need to help each other out because, of course, the competition is hard, and growing in and of itself, it's a gamble. Like, or you get lucky, or you're not. It's part of the reason why I just do this show because of doing it. Like, one of the common things that I encounter is that it's the thought of, wait, I'm a cloud chaser when I'm technically not. Like, I do the show, I invite you because I like your vibe, I like your content, and I want you to just hang out and chill on a collab without worrying about games, without worrying about tech, without worrying about time frame that much. so we can have it just chill out and talk. That's part of the reason why I don't mind if you are late. I don't mind if we start late or anything. Part of the reason why I also don't post anything aside of, wait, hey, I have a guest tomorrow, no time, that's that. Unless we make sure we accomplish that, but even then, I don't mind having a flexible time frame. That's part of the reason why I leave like at least a 5-hour time frame if something happens. We can start
that's
later.
fair.
You can start later or early, whenever you want.
Yeah, that's completely valid.
Yeah. But again,
and honestly smart.
Yeah, like they say, organizing this type of thing is complicated, and it is. At the beginning, it is. But once you get the pattern nailed down, it's straightforward. Like you already do this, you already have everything prepared. You have quote unquote a solid time frame because, well, this week specifically has a little bit of a weird time frame because of some stuff happening IRL, but either way, it's practically the same time frame.
Yeah, and I do want to touch back on the whole like content creator and competition thing. I personally don't quite see it that way, and I want to offer a little bit of different perspective of how I see things. I don't see people as competition necessarily. I just see them as more of opportunities to make friends. I choose the approach of I exist in my own bubble and anyone who I bring into it, and that's it. Like,
honestly, same. Like, I just think of the approach of competition because it's usually how it's looked outside of the content creation sphere, if you think about it. Like, everyone is uploading their content to their respective platforms and they are fighting for the algorithm's attention. But at the end of the day, you're right. Like, we are content creators, we can make friends of each other and just make the content we want. That's the thing of it. Like, do your content, do whatever you want, you do you. If you want to make friends, make friends. If you want to make your own content alone, do it. The practice and the making of it, it's the important part. If you're having fun, you're doing a good time, you're good. That's basically it.
And that also, like, is a mindset that comes from me playing games growing up. My brothers would try to introduce me to Call of Duty, but they were so good that I would be instantly dead as soon as I spawn. And that was kind of a realization of there's always going to be somebody who's better than you, and there's always going to be somebody who's a little bit more worse off than you. And so striving to be the best, while it can be a good thing, it can end up being the death of a streamer if you're pushing yourself to an unrealistic standard. Like, sure, be the best you that you can be, but it's unrealistic for only everybody except that one person of whoever is the best. But also, that's an objective opinion. Somebody who is saying like, oh, this person's my Oshi, this person I look up to, this person's the best in the VTubing space. Another person you pull off the street's gonna have a totally different opinion.
Oh, for sure.
So it's best to not stress about that. And also, like, the viewer count thing. A lot of people say, like, turn your viewer count off, because if you worry about numbers, you will end up tanking your own content, which I've seen somebody do firsthand, actually, who got so obsessed with the numbers that it basically drove her chat away from her, and ended up to where she was no longer happy with her content because she drove everybody who was willing to be a fan away from her.
Yeah, I tend to not mention viewer numbers to anyone unless they ask me or they bring the topic of, hey, I want to reach affiliate, I want to reach partner. Well, I just tell you the goals you need to achieve, but I'm not telling you more than that because that will just add to the baggage of stress you have. It's like, okay, bringing up the topic of this brings me a really nice quote from a really old turtle hermit I met before.
Oh?
Just whatever you do, whenever you have a mountain, just remember, you need to sleep well, eat well, play well, and enjoy yourself. That's the way of the turtles. It's basically that. It's just content creation or everything you do in life is like that. If you have a mountain in front of you, just take your time, prepare yourself, and cross it. But remember, there's always something else to achieve. Take your time and you'll get there. It's not that hard.
Yeah. With a lot of people, I feel like they get too focused on the grand scheme of things type details instead of having it be your scope in a smaller perspective. And that's kind of the approach I'm trying to implement, is the smaller perspective. I'm going to grow for me, and I'm not going to grow in comparison to anybody else. I consider me a dandelion, but I will grow cracks in the concrete kind of thing.
Yeah. Slowly but surely as someone grows, like, it's something that can take months to years, and it will happen eventually. Don't force it. There's people that are knowledgeable for knowing how to like go with the algorithm and all of that. Yeah, that works. Like, algorithm can be figured out, and it has to do with the popularity of some topics at the time and all of that.
Yeah.
But if you keep going with the algorithm all the time, well, you will get burnout super quick.
Yes. Oh, yeah. If you are only focused on being a slave to the algorithm, you will end up burning yourself out really bad. But honestly, I just thought of while you were talking that there's a literal visual representation to my approach to my content. In the VTuber space, all of you see is like these gods, goddesses, demons, all of these like mythical creatures, mythical beings, these phoenixes, griffins, all these larger-than-life characters in the VTuber space. What did I pick? Just a lowly little caterpillar.
Honestly, dude. And some of those concepts can go really hard, like, what the hell? I mean, I don't mind any of that in the first place, like, you do you, but it's getting a little bit generic with a lot of demons and all that. Like, just remember this. If you want to be a demon, just remember, you have one of the biggest Twitch streamers there is in the VTuber space being a demon. You have also a VTuber that was created by that demon, which is another demon that is also really big. Then you have one of the most popular male VTubers on YouTube, which is also a demon. Like, we have a lot of demons. Unless you just try to stand out with the demon theming on another place. Like, for example, you, instead of being one of those demons, you want to be an imp. A little smaller, a chibi version of a little demon. Which fits the gremlin energy if you have it. It's a really good theming because it's pretty unique. You have really good thing going on there. Or you can be something like an old 50s cartoon demon.
Oh, yeah.
Which will be super funny and super fun to have. Like, there is like, a lot of unique ideas also. Like, you can have also generic ideas, but also unique ideas in the VTuber space. It's amazing the scope you can have on this community. It's great. As long as you're dedicated time and effort to it, it's great. Don't spend too much money though. Test the waters first and then do it, if you like.
Yeah. If you're going with a concept that's pretty broad, definitely try to make yourself stand out as much as possible. Like, I know, well, we both know a neon and light-based demon. We know a glitch demon. Like, you find your little carved-out niche of the world in there, because that's how you're going to stand out even more. That was also part of the reason why I chose a caterpillar for my model base, because there are not a lot of caterpillar VTubers. I've only seen a couple Japanese VTubers and a couple English ones. I have not seen anybody else try it. So within my space, I am the only lunar moth caterpillar that I am aware of. So I have the opportunity to grow in that space a little bit. Well, yes, there's a lot of lunar moth caterpillar like based moths, I feel like they have a Lunamoth caterpillar companion.
But are they usually already moths or
they're
like
already moths
form of the caterpillar? You're the basic caterpillar.
Yeah, and I I feel like I'm pretty unique in the fact of like not wanting to strive to be a moth, because that is a niche like demons that is very populated in space.
Hell, in my case, I know there is engineer type VTubers, but they usually go with the TF2 route, where they are just the face rig engineer, maybe one that is slightly modified, but still the TF2 engineer. In my case, I just run with the title. I'm whatever the fuck else I am. Like, I don't look like engineer aside of the little wrench I have on my t-shirt. Aside of that, I'm not like looking like a regular engineer, which that's what I think it sets me apart a little bit.
Yeah, you've carved your niche as well, and that's one of the things that people need to take more into account. Like, they'll say, why am I not growing as a content creator? And they're just this basic, like, I don't know, snake VTuber. Just to throw something out there. They look like every other snake VTuber. Like, find something that sets you apart. Make yourself like a crystal snake. Or a, like, demon snake. I don't know.
Or you can go into a specific animal you like. Like, I don't see too much fennec foxes. I don't see too much giraffes. I know a few. I know one giraffe VTuber, for example.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hippopotamus. You have a lot of animals that can be represented on the VTuber community. Hell, for as popular as bats are on like popular media, I don't see too much bats VTubers, and I would love to. Like, I love some bat variants of like monsters and all that. Like, there is a lot of like bats you can get from like inspiration of. Then you have like D&D, World of Warcraft fantasy characters that are a little bit overrepresented, are a little bit also underrepresented in some ways. You have orcs, you have knight, light elves, all of that. Yeah, it's a lot. You have a lot to pick off. That's a good thing. Like, it can be a little bit bloated on some areas, but also pretty open on others.
Yeah, it's that stereotype, like every VTuber anime girl is a pink cat. Like, find a way to carve.
It's a pink something, not specifically a cat, because that can vary depending on what they have on their head.
Yeah, I've heard the joke that it's a pink cat that's like the most overused thing, but you have to find your niche and like carve it out, make yourself stand out, like how other VTubers who are pink cats have done, and that's one of the things that you need to like focus on. Make sure that you can capture attention enough within your niche to strive, basically.
Yeah. Again, it's more the person behind the model than the model itself. You can have a pretty good-looking model, but still being a little bit boring. You can have a pretty basic Viroid model or a pretty basic Light 2D model that you got for free as a free asset or something, and still stand out because you are the one standing out of your model specifically. The model is just there to call a little bit of attention, but you're the one holding it.
Yeah, that's very true as well. I feel like it's kind of a half and half. Like, you and the model need to work in tandem in a way that presents your content well. Because there are some people who are in it just for like the aesthetics and making fan art and such like that. But yes, you are very, very right that you are the one who propulses your content.
Hell, your approach to like making friends and all of that helps a lot, because when you're making friends, those friends want to keep in touch with you, or at least wants to keep it like updated on your end. And that's great too. Like, that helps a lot.
Yeah. And like, you mentioned the whole like clout chasing thing that a lot of people like to throw out as an insult of like, oh, you're just trying to make friends with like bigger streamers and all that. Whatever.
Like, mentally speaking, for me at least, being a Warframe player, that this includes on Warframe, League of Legends, and all that, I tend to get away from big numbers. Like, I like seeing big numbers on my end, but on my quote-unquote enemy or my opponent side is a little bit terrifying. Like, dude, I'm facing a guy with 2,000 subscribers, followers, whatever the fuck, more than me. And I'm trying to approach them for a job. They will easily call me a clout chaser if they want. they can easily do that. But honestly,
Yeah.
even in and of itself, it's a mental thing for me to try and reach out people for the show. Some people it's not that hard because, well, I know them beforehand, like you, like I did with you, I did with Midori, I did with the video, I did with all the other people I invited before. But there were some people specifically that I had to reach out thanks to other friends, or I reached out and by miracle they picked up the phone and all of that.
Yeah.
It's a gamble, and I have to keep in mind that the worst thing I can get, aside of just being called a cloud chaser, is just a no. Like, it's not the end of the world for a no. I'd take that even.
And honestly, like, if somebody calls you a clout chaser, there's a saying that if somebody tells you who they are, listen. Which a lot of people, like, it sounds really obvious, like, oh yeah, but there are meanings behind people's words that you don't really pick up on, and it's a term called projection. Where if somebody's calling you a clout chaser, more than likely that's because that's what they have on their brain. Because I'm somebody who, like, despite whatever number I may reach someday, I always want to be like, hey, you can reach out to me whenever. I don't want to treat anybody differently based on numbers or anything like that. That no matter where things go, I want people to know, hey, you can reach out to me, you can talk to me. Because I don't see the concept of clout chasing as even really valid. Because even if, say, a smaller VTuber collabs with somebody from, I don't know, Niji Sanji, for example, yeah, sure, you might get some followers, but how many of those are going to come back?
True, like, that's the thing. If you are the one with that doesn't have the personality to keep the people you're trying to get from the other person, that's not working at all. You get the followers, but do you get the viewers from it? That's the thing.
Yeah,
you need to be interesting too.
Like, when I started the VTubing thing and had the pre-debut ENVtuber in my Twitter tag, a lot of people seem to be the follow for follow type. But if you're not interacting with people's content, you have like 2,000 people you're following on Twitter, are you even really a follower at that point? You have made yourself just a number, and that always sounded a little weird to me now that I think about it, of like, yeah, I'm gonna follow you, but I'm not gonna interact with your content. But I mean, that's just me.
In my case,
I also treat...
in my case, I had to do that because I want to keep an eye on the people that catch my attention with the name. Like, it all starts with the name, then I check out the Twitch to see what bots they have up, or if they are streaming, I'll check out on them. I'll look about, see if the vibe clicks with me. If it clicks, I keep the follow, so later I can have them on the show if possible. If not, I just unfollow. That's that.
Yeah, yours makes sense, but there are the people who are specifically like, I'm following you specifically so you follow me, and that just does not make any sense to me.
Mine makes sense because I'm not asking you to follow me back. Again, I'm just lurking on your stuff. I'm not like... I'm not just looking for the follow or X follow. If you like my content on my end, or you enjoyed my show, sure, you can follow me. If you don't want to, don't do it. You're not obligated to. Again, doing it for fun, not for clout.
Yeah, but if you're lurking on good intentions and you're interacting with the content like how you do,
I mean,
like,
lurking in and of itself is interacting. You're literally watching something.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're doing it for good reasons, then that's cool. It's those people that make no sense of, like, I'm doing it just so you give me something in return that I feel is not right.
Nah, it's not a trade, dude.
But yeah, the lurkers, I love lurkers, honestly. There's so many ways to lurk and interact with content and people.
Me too, and they help a lot. They don't notice, but those numbers for the goals on Twitch, those help. Even if you're not interacting with chat, that number helps.
Yeah.
You're there. Help a lot.
Yeah. Even if we don't always say it, we see you. We see that you're helping us out in one way or another. no matter what. If you're just lurking and you've never said a word in chat, to the people who reblog or retweet or like everything that we post, depending on which language and which social media you're on.
Yeah.
We see all of you and we love you no matter how with our chat. And I feel like that's the other part where a lot of people get hung up of like, I have 10 lurkers in my chat. Like, that's a good thing. 10 people have decided to hang out with you.
That's more than enough that you need for affiliate even. That's great. Great viewership.
Yeah. Even if they're not the most active in chat, like, they are still helping you out, whether you think so or not. And I feel like people need to consider that more often going into their content.
Yeah.
On one of the recent streams that I had talked about, I had watched a video where another content creator was breaking down the numbers and saying that if you've ever had 6 people in your chat at any given time, you are a part of the 5%, the top 5% of Twitch. Like, that blows my mind. To think all you need is 6 people at once and you're in the top 5%? Really?
That's true. Yeah, I can see that, because if you really think about it, there is a shitload of streams. Not just VTubers, in general. There's a lot of streams.
Oh, yeah.
And most of the people on Twitch itself that are watching Twitch at the time will be on a bigger size stream most of the time because they want to watch their favorite content creator. Let's say, I'm streaming right now. I have a number, I'm not going to say it. I have a number. But then I have other people like, for example, Maximilian Dude, which is a really big content creator on the fighting game side of things. He has 10k per stream at least.
Yeah.
Then you have other people like, I don't know, the top streamers in general that are streaming at the same time as you. 9 times out of 10, people will be watching those streamers rather than you. It's a sad, but it's a reality. If you get people watching you at the same time as them, or just watching you, that's the best feeling you can ever have. Like, people is taking their time to watch you. It's something I gladly appreciate, no matter the number, no matter who it is. I gladly appreciate that. Yeah. Honestly.
And just to think that the number is so low and so obtainable of like just 6 people at any one time, like, that, I feel, at least brings me a sense of peace and happiness.
Honestly, yeah. I sometimes get the feeling like I'm not doing well with content, like my content gets underappreciated, but then I remember, dude, I can get up to 5-6 people watching. I can get people liking my stuff every other day.
Yeah.
For just one day that I don't get that, it's really that big of a deal. It is not. Like, it's just one day you're having a bad day, that's all. It's just another thing. It's hard to get that mentality though, because, again, the content creation space can be a little bit taxing mentally if you are like really bothered with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it hurts a lot.
Yeah, and especially if you're somebody like us who's doing either the bulk of the content or all of the content by themselves, making the thumbnails, making the models, making the assets, all of that falls on us, and it can be mentally taxing just going through and making sure you're remembering every little thing. Is my mic muted? Is my game running? all these different things, especially if you want to go the extra mile and make your content interactive. Even things like your equalizer bars that you have in this chat, what you see on screen, like that stuff takes work to put in a stream. And people don't appreciate enough, I think, how much work they put into their own content and how much other people put into their own content. Because all of this stuff is not easy to figure out how to place.
Yeah, how to place,
sure.
where to find the stuff. Like, this took a little bit of searching. I had to ask people how do I find this in the first place, and then just play with it a lot. Same with the mics. Like, the mics popped off by luck on my Twitter. I just grabbed them because they were free assets. That's the thing. There is a lot of free assets you can use.
Oh yeah.
I love those.
I have a folder full of free assets that I have yet to really utilize even. And it takes a lot to figure out how to put everything together. Like, it's not necessarily easy for people to, like, the chat that you have in the center of the screen, that's not easy to put in.
No.
I have not figured out how to do that yet.
It's
So,
not.
like,
It's
appreciate
easy
what you
and
do.
it isn't at the same time. Like, I'm using
Yeah,
something
exactly.
that is pre-made technically, and I just configure it at my leisure. But even then,
Yeah.
it takes time to figure out how to make this work. Like last night, for example, a friend of mine that was trying to get this exact same chat as I do, with their theming going on. We had an issue that the chat wasn't showing. And the problem
Yeah.
was because of the size, the font that wasn't pretty good, and it's a lot to get through, and we had to troubleshoot a few tutorials on that, and it ended up working. Funny enough, we ended up fixing and making that look really good. We ended up doing everything good enough.
That'll be my next VC poke. Hey, can you help me set up a chat that looks as good as yours, please?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'm up for that 100%. Like, if someone I know needs my help with something, I'll do it. Why not? If I'm able, I do it. It's fun. It's fun to deal with this stuff. And besides, one thing that is funny enough that helps if you know Spanish is that you have a shitload of tutorials on Spanish that help you with stuff that you may or may not find on the English side of things. Like, this chat, for example, it's easier for me to figure it out on the Spanish tutorial than the English from the original creator. Like, some of the stuff I just have just a few minutes apart. It's not a long video, but the English side is more like in depth because, well, the person who made the video.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I love this. Like, this little chat box, if it wasn't for a friend that had it on their stream, I won't be able to even know about it. And I love it.
Yeah, and I'm the same way of, like, if anybody walks in like, hey, how do you do that? Like, yesterday I was telling one of my friends, like, yeah, I have this set up for my alerts to put sounds behind them and all these different overlays and interfaces, and I'm very also open with the information of how my stream works and what I did to get my stream to look the way it is.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just part of the fun, is helping people grow and figure out what they like.
Yeah, it feels great to show these things to people, like, this stream looks really good, I wonder how they do it. If I get the opportunity to just ask the streamer where to find it, I just look for it after it.
Yeah, that was actually one of the reasons why I went with a VTuber Plus for the throwing system apparatus, because a streamer I like advertised it in their stream that's what they use. And like, oh, I really like that, so I'm gonna go with this.
And besides, there is not much difference between that and tits. I think it's. I don't know how to pronounce individual letters. There's not much difference between that and tits. Yeah, TATS. Yeah.
Integrated throwing system.
Yeah, I don't know if there's that much different, and I believe the videos don't help that much on that regard.
Yeah. That was why I was stuck between the two for a while, because there's not a whole lot of stuff on VTuber Plus and what it can do. But then figuring out, like, oh, okay, like False uses VTuber Plus, and I know that now because opening up the program, I have all the same capabilities that False does. Like, oh, okay, so this is how they do it. This is how I can drop an anvil on my head.
Yeah.
It's just kind of learning from each individual person, taking bits and pieces of stuff that you like. And I feel like that's a little bit demonized. Like, don't directly copy a person, sure, but like, it shouldn't be gate-kept of what you use to, like, have somebody throw something at you. It's easy enough to find.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the fact that nobody reached out the About page for that kind of stuff. I would do it, but hey, if it's not there, I don't know where to find it. I just need to ask.
Yeah. And there's so many different pieces of information out there for different things, especially in the VTubing space because it is becoming more publicly accessible of tutorials on things like sound alerts and trigger fire, which I have both on my streams for sound alert based things, all the different extensions you can use, things like channel points and how to set those up. There's so many different tutorials now that were not possible like 2 years ago when the VTubing space really got its boom.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's some tutorials that are from the old streamer setup that you can apply to VTubing too. But
oh, yeah, that too.
yeah, that depends on the tech you're using.
Yeah. I was a no-face streamer first before VTubing, so yeah, I was able to apply a lot of the stuff that I had learned back then to now, even 4 years gap between.
Yeah. I think we have a good time here. Do you have any target you want to rate now?
Oh, for like what you want to talk about?
No, let's just rate them. We're good on time now.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Let me see who is available. Oh wow, there's actually not a lot of people on my list who are actually online. I do have one suggestion. Should I type it in Discord to you or type it in chat?
give it to me on Discord or on the chat, whenever works.
Okay. Oh, right. I need to use my phone because I unplugged my keyboard to make room.
Oh, right.
One second. But if I get the choice, then I will raid a friend of mine. They're playing RuneScape, looks like. Yeah, old school RuneScape.
Alright.
There you go, sent it to you.
Ooh.
Go stop by Marrow.
Let's go.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate
it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining me today. Let's see what happens next. Like, I don't know if I'm going to stream later today or we just wait for the Game Awards on Thursday next week. So keep an eye on that, everyone. And thank you guys for showing up. It was a pleasure to have Zane here with me and you guys. So keep an eye out for my stuff and Zane stuff. Remember to use the commands that are on the title of the stream to check the socials and the playlist for today. And we see you guys next time. Later.
Bye, everybody.